I'm Lauren with Pack Hacker, and today we're going to be taking a detailed look at the Topo Designs Commuter Briefcase, which I've been testing for the last 2 weeks. Let's dive in. So starting off with the materials, this version that we have here is the Heritage canvas. So it's a cotton canvas, and then down here is a Horine leather. So I'll bring this up a little bit closer to the camera here so you can get a little bit more detail there. But this really does have such a heritage feel to it. So that's something that I think if that's something that you're really into, this is a great bag for that. It's started to develop a little bit of a patina down here. You can see it's just a little bit worn in, but nothing too crazy, and just over time that's going to get even more subtle. So the leather accent on the front here as well, and then all of these zipper pulls are also leather accents. So one thing to note with these zipper pulls is that they are a little bit on the thinner side. You can see, I mean, it's pretty hefty considering, but I didn't really feel comfortable pulling on these to open up the zippers, specifically because the zippers are pretty tight. So these are YKK zippers, but they're number 10. So, I mean, you can just see by looking at them that they're really bulky. And while I don't hate the way that it looks on the bag, I did find that they were super sticky and hard to open, which based off of, some looking online, that seems to be a consensus between other users of the bag. So that's something to keep in mind. So this one was not as bad as this one over here. But I found if I was using the zipper pull, you can tell it just gets like kind of caught, a little bit sticky. And then this zipper pull starts to really stretch. You can see that there's like a little bit of a stretch to it. So I was a little bit weary of using them too much. And then over time, they would also just sort of start to come apart because the only thing keeping them together is that it's looped through itself. So I didn't have any issues with them falling off, but that's just something to keep in mind. I found myself mostly grabbing onto the actual zipper pull itself, this metal bit, to open up these pockets. And then when the bag itself was full, the pockets or the zippers were a lot easier and a lot smoother of a glide. They are metal teeth as well. I can bring that up a little bit closer to you. You can kind of see that it's developed like a little bit of wear and tear, right specifically in this area, which is actually where it started catching mostly for me. I don't even know if you could see that super well just because of that reflection there, but that's mostly where I started to develop a little bit of an issue. And then as well with these zipper teeth being metal, they're super scratchy on either side. So when you're getting your bat or sticking your hand in the bag to grab anything out, it would tear like along my skin kind of here and then along my knuckles as well. So quick grabs weren't super comfortable, both because the zipper was a little bit sticky and because it was uncomfortable to reach in. So I would say in terms of access, that's one of the biggest things to keep your eye out for. So kind of continuing over the rest of the bag here, there is a water repellent finish. So it does have, a fair amount of durability to it there if that's something that you're interested in. And then on the bottom here, we have, across the bag, we have Duraflex buckles, but on the bottom here are 2 compression straps. So they go around the entire base here, but I didn't really find these super useful. They seem to be a little bit more aesthetically there than anything, just because this is when they're, completely tightened or as tightened as I can get them to be. They're just kind of sitting along the edge of the bag. So it's not like it really tightened anything in. And I mean, the leather down here is pretty thick, so that could be a contributing factor. But in general, I didn't see a super awesome function for these. I think they look nice on the bag, but it doesn't necessarily need them. And then in addition, there are no strap keepers anywhere on this bag. So that's something to keep in mind as well, that when this is, hanging off of you in whatever capacity, these are just kind of flapping around and then they don't serve a purpose, so they're flapping around for no reason. So not a huge deal in the scheme of things, but something to keep in mind. And then looking at the back here, we have a luggage pass-through for ease of carry if you decide to use any sort of a rolling luggage. and then a waist strap down here. This is mostly for when you're in backpack mode, but it's also, removable. So if you decide that you don't want these straps, kind of like the other straps, there are no strap keepers. So these are going to be flapping around if you're carrying it as a duffel. They just kind of carry like that, or like a briefcase, I guess you could say, since this is a commuter briefcase. Those are just going to be flapping around. So I found myself mostly just removing them until I needed them. Even so, with these straps here, these backpack straps, they are stored in this back pocket here. You can see it's a fairly hefty pocket. There's a good amount of space in there. And then these straps themselves are mesh. And they're super comfortable. I found them to be pretty comfortable during wear and really easy to adjust, very quickly when it's on. And then that same kind of hook there for attaching them down here. So that's mostly where that waist strap comes in handy, is when you have these straps on here. So I did find myself struggling with these hooks a little bit. They just kind of, they feel a little bit tighter than some other similarly, designed hooks. But once you get it on there, then it's pretty okay. It's just they're a little bit hard to like squeeze together. I also don't have the strongest hands, so that could just be user error. But for when you have it like this, then this comes in handy. And then that's great for stabilization if you are using this as some sort of like a commuter or bike pack or something like that. If you like that versatility, but you still like riding your bike occasionally, that's going to add stability. It doesn't add a ton of support without, just because this is only a 15-liter capacity bag. It doesn't really necessarily need that extra support, but it's great to have it. And then when you don't want it, like I mentioned, just kind of unhook them there. And then you don't have to have them on anymore. And then it's a nice and clean look. So there's also, if you look, there's these tabs kind of across the bag here, and these are for the Pack Fast bag attachment loops. And this is because a lot of Topo Designs bags are modular and they can attach to each other. So these loops are for if you want to do that. So this is what it's like in backpack mode. There's a top carry handle up here, which is great for hanging. It's just like a little bit of nylon, so it's not anything super comfortable, but in terms of carry, you have these straps here. So this is just sort of supplemental. And then when it's on your back, this turns into a vertical pocket. So this isn't necessarily something that you would be accessing super often when it's in backpack mode, but still great to have that function as well. There are also these two loops to attach any additional gear. And then if you are done, you want to, put this into another mode, you can take these straps off. As you can see, I'm struggling a little bit there. Get them down this way. Oh my gosh. And it's kind of an example of how I would struggle with it. There you go. Just gets like a little tight in there with that loop being as wide as it is. I don't have a ton of space to like actually grip and put my fingers in to be able to like squeeze it and compress it. And then I can put these straps away here. They just stow right back on the inside. And then, as I mentioned before, there are these top carry handles here that have nice leather accenting as well. And those are very comfortable to carry as well. So that was a preferred way of carry. And then the third way is with this included strap here. It's just a crossbody strap where you can carry it like a messenger. So that attaches like this, and then you've got the strap here with easily comes on and off and then rotates as well. A little bit of Topo Designs branding there. And same mesh padding as on the actual backpack straps themselves. So that kind of covers the outside here. It's fairly simple, just has a very sleek sort of heritage look to it, hence the name of this model here being the Heritage one. So looking at this first pocket here, This is kind of like just a little drop pocket. And here I have a notebook, my phone, wallet, and then there is a key strap as well. It has a decent amount of length to it, but I still had to detach my keys in order to use them with my door. But they do, it's not so long that it kind of like, some of them will be so long that even within the pocket, it doesn't really keep them under control. So this one is nice because even with as many keys as I have on my keys there, it still doesn't really touch the bottom here and they stay pretty much in place. So I'll leave that stuff out here. There's no additional organization in there. And then this main pocket is fairly simple as well. I sort of used these as like grab handles for support when I was opening the zippers, just because I did have so many issues with them. And then if you can kind of pull it wide here, I just have, you know, a packing cube in here, keyboard, tech pouch. There is this back organization panel here. So in here I have a pen and then a passport over on that side there, and then there is a zippered pocket. So all of these pockets here are pretty tight. They have like stretched over time, but you can tell they're really low profile to this back laptop sleeve. So these are really great for more low profile items. So like I said, with this passport in here, this fits pretty nicely. But if I were to say use in here, I have my mouse. That's like a little bit of a tighter fit. It's still really low profile, but the larger items that you get in there, the less it's going to, you know, smoothly slide on in. And then this pocket, they look like they're the same, but this one is a slip pocket. This one does not have any sort of a slip pocket in it. This one is just a zippered pocket, and this zipper is, you know, nice and smooth. And then the last thing in this bag, because it is just sort of an open pocket to pack as you please, is this back laptop compartment. It fits up to a 15-inch laptop. So mine here is a 13-inch. You can see I have a fair amount of space. And a 15-inch does fit in there nicely, though it comes up pretty close to the top. And since this doesn't have any extra padding, that's something you might want to look out for. This strap here, that just is like a Velcro closure, that is something that adds a decent amount of security. Like if I kind of shake this, you know, it comes out, but it's not really going anywhere. So I wouldn't necessarily worry about the laptop coming out so much as if you were to, you know, drop this on its head, or if you were to set something down, then, you know, any tech that's in this back compartment here is exposed on the sides if you don't have any additional padding. So the compartment itself does have some cushion to it. So this panel here has some padding, and then there is some back panel padding here as well. So it is, you know, a fair amount there for protection, and then that doubles up on this back panel here for added comfort when you have it in backpack mode and everything like that. So the Velcro as well, I did get stuck a couple of times with it. So it looks like, I don't know if you can really see, but it's kind of like not super secure in the stitching. And I earlier today, I stabbed myself with it and I ended up bleeding on one of my pointer fingers, and I don't really know where it ended up happening. I think if I had to guess, it would be like right here. There's kind of like a lip to it and it's really pokey on the edge. So I kind of felt like this bag was like attacking me on a regular basis, just with these metal teeth here, and then with this Velcro you know, attachment point there, that security point. I did feel a little bit like I was getting injured as I was using the bag, but I think that's just kind of by nature of these wide zippers here, which add a little bit of an aesthetic choice more than anything. So there you have it, the Topo Designs Commuter Briefcase. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel, and we'll see you in the next one.